Okay, so today's the day. While I have a picket of time, um, I want to talk about one of my favorite pieces of the world building that I've been doing. One second. Okay, yeah, that I've been doing. I've been really trying to get this world like no other. I think that's the best way to put it. I really want to get this world like no other. So I guess today I can explain the magic and the physics because they go hand in hand. So I did kind of like write it out my ideas because I am a mother. I don't have a whole bunch of free time and I can go off into a million tangents. And you know what? Guess what? If we can get this video to 10 likes, because baby, I'm new at this, honey. If we can get this video to 10 likes, I will definitely go live so you guys can hear all my ramblings. I think that's a good I think that's a good like trade-off. But I will say what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep this audio exactly how it is. I'm not going to edit. You will hear everything raw because I just don't want to edit. I feel like you guys should just hear what I'm saying about what the world is, right? Exactly. That's why I write a few notes so we don't go on tangents. Anyway, we're back. We have made it back. Full circle moment. Anyway, I'm going to talk about my favorite pieces again. And my favorite part is really the magic as the physics. The magic is the physics. When I was getting into the fantasy writing and things like that, I really, how do I say, I really challenged myself to treat the magic like a reward and not necessarily something that you get when you're born or whatever. You know what I mean? Or you must pull this magic sword out of something. And that's no shade to those tropes because that to me is like the foundation of fantasy, of the genre. And I love that. I love that. But I wanted to do something different because that's just me as a person. So in my world, the magic, again, it just doesn't work like you're chosen or you're worthy or you pass a test and then boom. The veil that I've made, it's like a force and it shapes everything. It's my best way to put it. It's like an orb within an orb. The humans, us people, we have a metaphysical orb around us, but the veil itself is a larger metaphysical orb that surrounds everybody and everything. Okay? That's kind of basically how it is. It doesn't judge anybody though, because it's more like gravity, weight, height. You know what I mean? Those things are just things, and that's how I view the veil. It's not like a choosing type thing. It won't choose the heroes. It's not going to hand out power. You know what I mean? Think about it like water, though. Think about it like water. Water, it really doesn't care who you are. It doesn't matter your socioeconomic class. It doesn't matter your race, your height, whatever. It just ripples when you move it. Period. Gravity doesn't care. Gravity is enacted no matter what, right? Like that's kind of how it is. But think about it like the water. Here I go going on tangents because I got my little script right here and I need to just stick to it. If you push hard enough on the water, obviously you'll push through it, you'll break it, right? If you are light enough, and obviously not humans, I'm talking about like feathers and certain things that have buoyancy. If you're light enough, you'll sit on top of it. You'll float. You know what I mean? Like you'll move freely in a different way than, like floating is different than swimming, right? But it's both with water. You know what I mean? So, that's kind of how it is, but that's how the veil works. Now, what causes the ripples, right? What causes the ripples in the veil? Because we know what causes ripples in water. We know what causes water to move and things like that, but the veil is not water. It's like water. But what causes the veil to ripple. Well, every emotion, every loss, every moment of love or fear creates a pressure. That's where your pressure comes from. The veil doesn't decide which pressure is good or bad. Again, it just responds. It literally just responds. Most people can only feel the ripples that they make. They could only feel their own ripples. Now, some people, because this is where the fantasy comes in, this is where everyone is still not the same, but still within the same context. Some people can feel the overlapping of the waves, right? Because it's multiple orbs, the people, the humans, the things, the animals, the plants. There are multiple orbs within this large orb. But only a few, well, I won't say a few, some, not a whole bunch, but not a whole little either. They can feel the overlapping waves. But only a very, very small number can feel the interference. Right? Like where the waves amplify, where they cancel, where they arrive late. It's almost like you can feel the wave coming and you can predict how it's going to get there. That's just kind of like the levels. You feel your own, you feel the overlapping, or you feel the full-on interference of the wave. That's where things, again, can get a little, I guess, dangerous. And I don't want to say the danger is minimized in my world, because it's not, baby. We only got book 1. Y'all haven't seen the rest of the series, okay? So, it's book 1, the danger isn't insane, but it can get dangerous. That's the part that, I kind of want to emphasize. It can get dangerous. Now, in this system, though, love is not powerful because, it's this holy thing. It's powerful because it's sustained. When you love someone, it's the pressure that's sustained. And when love is lost, the pressure changes. The veil reacts differently around you. You know what I mean? That's just one of the biggest things. And what we know about the veil now is that, without spoilers, what we know about the veil is that it loves pairs. Something about the pressure and the vibration of that the pairs give out. I don't know. We don't know. Maybe the veil feels it. Maybe the veil is reminded of something when it happens. And if it can feel this vibration and this specific pulse and this specific pull within itself, it may feel happy. It might feel loved itself. The fact that we're enacting love is creating something that the veil loves, right? That's something that I've really just been thinking about. I really, it's almost like a metaphysical ripple effect that people don't quite understand, and the people who do understand it are fully outcasted. But anyway, that is not a spoiler, but kind of part of what's going to be happening soon. Yeah, so that's something big. Now, certain things that kind of we do know, that control is sharp, it's loud, it's like a splash. To control the system, when you suppress emotion and memory and connection, it doesn't really create peace. They trap a certain pressure within your own orb, within your own, you know what I mean? Little sphere. Oh, that's a weird word. So that trap pressure doesn't disappear. It just fractures. It just breaks. Now, if we know the veil enjoys pairs, it loves love, it loves good connection, imagine what it feels when it fractures. So if we fracture, then it fractures again. A fractal. An inception of an orb within an orb, Again, this metaphysical ripple effect. But a lot of people in some of the wards, some of the areas that I've created, they've kind of made it this thing that they feel almost, I'd say, safer within that pressure. Like that pressure is the only thing that's supposed to be felt, and if it's not there, then life is wrong. that's, that's kind of one of the issues, how people interpret it, or how people, are looking at the veil like a god, and this is what it wants, and this is, as much as we know that it's the ripple effect, I wouldn't say it's necessarily that the veil wants it, because it's semi-sentient. It's a semi-sentient thing. It's not fully sentient. It's not necessarily a reasoning thing. Like, it knows that it's feeling certain things, but I don't think that, it wants to feel certain things. And I think I'll leave it at that, because that's kind of what book 1 says. But there's so many things I want to say, but I don't want to spoil it. I really, really don't, because I feel like people are going to read it. And as you read it, I want you to think about this and think about how the veil works, and read book 1 and be like, wow. And even if you don't listen to this and you do read it, I still want you to think about how the veil works, and I want you to try to think about how it can evolve. There we go. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Back to the notes. After these fractures, that's where a lot of people in power kind of like don't understand. To me, that's the tragedy of it. They really mistake the silence for obedience. Like, we're silent, so we're obeying the veil. But the silence is just water, like holding its breath. It's just like water holding a space. And at some point, an air bubble in water is going to pop. It's going to rupture. It's going to break. It's going to fracture, right? That's just how I see it, I'd say. But anyway, I'm going to end it, by saying this. No one in the world that I've created is outside of the veil. No one in the world that I created is being watched from above. Everyone is already inside the veil. Like, that's very important. And we know what's crazy? This is how I know I just ramble. I haven't even said the name of the darn story. Oh my God. The name of the story is The Veil Between Us. It is a part of the Chronicles of Veilborn series that I am writing. This is how I know I just love world building. I ain't even think about it. That's crazy. But anyway, every choice leaves a ripple. The only question that we have is whether the world can absorb it or whether it breaks. See you next time, and we'll talk about something else about my world, and I'll go on tangents.